Okay, for all the participants, we are just taking another few minutes to organize for the slides to be seen by you.
Rupesh sir is joining back in a minute. Just hold. I just talked to him.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Hello, Pradeep sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you? Hello, madam.
Yes, hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
I
we
think
can start.
we can start, and I have sent file to Pradeep sir so that he can put it on the screen for the students. Right?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So good morning and
Yeah.
welcome to all the participants to day 2, session 2. This session is going to be taken by CA Rupesh Shahji. He is a finance consultant and certified trainer. He's a cost and national level rank holding chartered accountant. Mr. Shah brings 2+ decades of experience in varied finance domains, namely corporate finance, taxation, mergers and acquisitions, project financing, fundraising, and investment management. His forte is in managing the IPO process and mergers and acquisitions for expanding business footprints to international markets. His core areas include strategic planning, financial accounting, and reporting business analysis. So, with these few words, to introduce a great speaker like Chartered Accountant Rupesh Shahji, I think without wasting any further time, I would like to extend a very, very hearty welcome to you, sir, for this session, which is all about financial freedom and wealth creation. And I'm sure you're going to make it applicable to all the students from multiple streams, marketing, finance, HR, as well as operations. Right? So, a very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Yeah. So thanks for the kind words. My dear students, sorry for 15 minutes delay, but nevertheless, we are going to make it very interesting. And the intention of this program is actually to prove at the end of the session is that the easiest thing on this planet is actually to make money, and we actually spend whole our life, right, only to make money, and ignore a lot of other things which we love to do. So, and I have specifically designed this program for all of you, keeping in mind your average age is 25 years. So the presentation is there on your screen now. So Pradeep sir, can we keep some of the students on unmute mode so that I can interact whenever I then take their names? Pradeep sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can take their names and then you can ask them to unmute. They will be able to speak. No worries, sir.
Oh, great. So, the topic for the day is financial freedom and the wealth creation. And, I would like to know from some of you, what actually you mean by the financial freedom, and what is this, understanding in your mind about the financial freedom, because everybody at the end want to achieve the wealth and the financial freedom, right? And that is why we work from 9 to 5 schedule. And in the corporate world, normally it goes beyond that, right? So if may I take the name of Bhavesh Shakhale, can you come online, Bhavesh, and share few of your thoughts that what is your understanding about the financial freedom? Bhavesh Shakhale?
Yes, sir. Hi,
Yeah,
sir.
Bhavesh.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Bhavesh Sakre here from
Yeah.
PGDM.
Yeah.
So,
Finance?
no, sir, marketing.
Oh, great.
So basically, as per like, I am not having that much idea about this, but I can say financial freedom means one can easily means do the living expense or
Mm.
cover the expense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
Okay. So to cover your living expense. Okay. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
Even
good.
or being rich or tons of money, I can say that, or
Mhm.
basically he can fulfill his needs, his or her needs.
Okay. So basically to have enough money in your kitty so that your day-to-day expenditure and your standard of livings are maintained,
Yes,
right?
sir.
That's great. Very good, Bhavesh. May I request Bhavin Shah to come online? Bhavin Shah? I think he is not there. No problem. So let's move to the next slide, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Bhavin. Yeah, Bhavin. Welcome, Bhavin.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
Bhavin.
sir. Good morning,
Yeah,
sir.
sir, I
Yeah,
have
hello.
given you control. You should also be able to move
Okay,
slide to
okay,
next slide.
okay. Okay, 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 okay. So, Bhavin, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, wealth creation means key for financial planning, long-term planning, sir, as per my understanding.
Okay. Matlab, when
Yes,
you
sir.
do the planning, you will have the financial freedom. That's what you mean to say? Okay. Okay, Bhavin.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
from finance, marketing, operation? Which field?
Finance, sir, finance.
Finance. Okay, Bhavin. That's great. So now let's move to the, the real understanding of the financial freedom. So the question is, sir, it's actually moving very slow. Can you help me out, sir, Pradeep, sir, to take control in your hand? Because from here it
Yes, sir.
takes time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
No,
maybe you
I'm
can
on
go to the
mute, so
slide.
it takes me a
Yeah.
few moments.
Yeah. Go to the slide number 2.
Yeah. 1 minute. I need to first cancel control. 1 minute.
Yeah. So the friends, the financial freedom is actually, your understanding is right that the next slide, sir. The financial freedom is actually, next slide. The financial freedom is actually, to have the enough income in your hand, right? So that you can cover your expenses, day-to-day expenses, and you can maintain your standard of living without worrying about from where your next source of income or next amount of money will come, and you can maintain your this lifestyle which you want to maintain, right? So it is actually not about having tons of money, right, or having a very extraordinary wealth. If you can make it, nothing like it, but you can still achieve financial freedom, when you can create enough kitty for yourself so that you have enough passive income in your hand, so that you can maintain your day-to-day expenses and you can cover your expenses, right? And what is the advantage of that? Advantage is that then you can spend your life and your precious time to follow your passion, to follow what you love doing, right, rather than just running after the money and in the rat race. Normally when the practical life, when people work in the corporate, they really work from 9 to 5, and many times they burn the midnight oils. They may draw good salaries, but they do not have a time to spend be after themselves and their families, and to pursue their own passion, their own love. That means what? When you create a financial freedom, you do not have to work to earn the money. You work because you love to do that work, and the money is just the byproduct, right? And you have so much of enough money in your hand that you do not worry about any recession, you do not worry about job losses, you do not worry about salary cut. Rather, in spite of the any of the bad situation happening in the job market or in the economy, your lifestyle is maintained without any problem. That is a true financial freedom. That means freedom means what? You live a life without any worry. And in the field of finance, right, when you have that much of money created which can take care of your rest of the life, then you truly achieve financial freedom, right? So it's a very, very bold statement that you work because you want to work, because you enjoy working, not because you get money, or you have a crisis to make money, and you have a crisis to run your household expenses, right? That's the great point. Let's move to the next slide. Now, the next logical question is, right, the financial freedom is a very, very personal concept, very, very relative concept, right? It will differ from one person to another person, right? That means what amount of enough money I have to create in my lifespan or in my early years of my life, right? So that I have a financial freedom, and what amount of money you need to create for yourself to maintain your lifestyle, that are totally different. That quantum can change totally different based on many factors, like my personal goals, my personal dream, my age factor, my inheritances, and my risk taking ability. So there are various reasons. So that means what? That one single formula will not applicable to all the people. It is a relative concept. Maybe a 5 crore of rupees is enough for one person, and maybe a 50 crore may not be enough for another person, because both the person have a different lifestyle. So This we really have to keep in mind that it is a very, very personal concept, and one has to decide his own plan, his own goal, and he has to dream for his own goal and create his own planning, right? Now, what does the financial freedom look like for you, right? मतलब आपके लिए financial freedom क्या हो सकता है, right? Maybe I have noted down what is it mean for me, and then somewhere you can find out, what it means for you. This is a slide where you can inquire in your mind about how financial freedom should look like for you. The first for me, the financial freedom is I can choose the career which I love, right, without worrying about money. Say that means I can follow my passion. When my passion become my profession, right, then there is a life worth living, enjoying. Just imagine Sachin Tendulkar playing cricket in the summer in the Wankhede Stadium. Then the cricket is not burden for him. Cricket is profession, but at the same time is passion. He really enjoys, and whatever money he make out of it is incidental, right? And when you actually the perform a duty which you enjoy doing, the success is guaranteed. The money just follow you. Money just follow you. Another thing for me, financial freedom is that I can take vacations every year within my budgets and without affecting my goal, without affecting my wealth. I can maintain my lifestyle and I can move around the world and see different part of the world. That is how I look at financial freedom, that I will go and see the world without having any debt on my head. I do not have to worry about paying the EMIs, right? Third is, I can do, I do not have to worry about buying expensive car or certain boat or something like this. And freedom to respond to the need of the charity, right? That is also a financial freedom for me, right? And freedom to retire much early in advance. Now you will surprised to know that I have started my career at the age of 25, and at the age of 45, within 20 years, I have decided now not to work for corporates and to follow my passion, right? So I work for various B schools like your esteemed college like yours, many other B schools, and I also train bankers and financial institutions from the platform of IIMS Calcutta. And this is what I enjoy. And I have my own office in Borivali where I do my own practice in the field of finance and the taxations, and I enjoy doing that, and I don't worry whether I will make money out of that or not. I just do it because I enjoy doing this, because I don't have to worry. So in all practical sense, I have retired from tensions. I work because I enjoy working, and I do not have to worry about run my house so that I have to work, right? Sir, next slide please. Right? So next logical question comes, how to achieve this financial freedom? Next logical question comes, right? So if I may ask Sachin Shukla, right? So Sachin Shukla, can you come online? Maybe you can share your thoughts that how you can achieve financial freedom. Sachin Shukla, can you come online? Ayush Parmar is there? Abhishek Singh.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Abhishek here.
Yeah, Abhishek, good morning. Can you introduce yourself? Which stream?
So, MMS Marketing.
MMS Marketing. And which year? Fourth year or fourth SEM or first SEM?
Third SEM, sir.
Third SEM. Great.
Yes.
So, Abhishek, can you share your thought? How can you achieve financial freedom?
Sir, by building assets that provide income.
Okay. Fantastic.
In the long term. Yeah.
Yeah. So building assets which can give you the income.
Yeah.
Can you give some example?
For example, real estate will be an asset and a car will be a liability.
Oh, fantastic. Have you read the book called Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Correct, sir.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Very happy to know this. Great.
Because I have to share the screen. I won't be able to do anything for next.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
May I request Akash Badatia to come online? Akash Badatia.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Akash. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm from MMS Finance.
Finance, great. So can you tell me how can you achieve financial freedom?
I believe we can achieve financial freedom by making more streams of income. Like we can invest into stock market. We can do investment in the real estate, which can
Okay.
provide many streams of passive income to us,
Oh,
which will
fantastic.
lead to financial freedom.
Fantastic. So we have two views. The one view is that we can invest into certain assets which can give you the income later stage. And another view is that you can invest into stock market and create the wealth and which can take care of your day-to-day expenses in the long run. Fantastic. Maybe I need one more answer. Maybe Ishita Thakkar can come online.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hello.
Can you introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. So I'm doing MMS third sem in finance.
Uh-huh.
So as rightly said by Abhishek, I would like agree to him. Even
Uh-huh.
I've read the book,
Uh-huh. Very good.
And I completely agree with the view that we should invest in assets,
Uh-huh.
and our assets column should be more than liabilities.
Okay.
And so for the financial freedom, I think we should track our spendings and open some right accounts. Like
Uh-huh.
once we are earning, we should invest them very well
Uh-huh.
in the right accounts. So for that, we should also research, obviously,
Uh-huh.
and we should prepare a budget and all that,
Uh-huh.
so that we have savings later on, and we should not
Fantastic.
have like we are not troubled about our future also. So we should take
Oh,
care of that.
oh, fantastic. So I must appreciate that I am interacting with the very learned class, very learned students.
Thank you.
So they know a lot of stuff which are scattered, right? When I will at the end will give you, to integrate all this point and create one formula for all of you, so that you can create, right, a hefty sum of money much well in advance in your life. But very nice. Uh, the last person, maybe I would like to know his view, and that is the Radhika Dave. Radhika Dave, can you come online? Radhika Dave, are you there? I think not there. Maybe Richa Sharma, can you come online? Richa Sharma, I think not there. Can I request Sagar Vyas to come online?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Sagar, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, sir. My name is Sagar, and I have completed my engineering from Atharva College of Engineering, and currently I'm in the specialization of marketing, pursuing MMS.
Very nice. Very nice. So,
Sorry,
what
sir.
is your view? What is your view about if you have been given this problem to solve? That then how will you achieve financial freedom? What kind of stuff you would like to do?
Sir, basically, if you ask me about this question, so I would definitely go with. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, very much.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh, yes. So, sir, having been work for 2 months in the internship for a financial firm, I would definitely go for mutual funds to invest.
Fantastic.
And on secondary, it will be gold.
Okay. Okay. So fantastic, Sagar. Thanks. So we have, one more view that, instead of investing directly into the equity, let us go through the mutual fund routes and also go to the
Yes.
gold. Fantastic. Very nice. Thank you, Sagar. Can we move to the
Thank you
next
so much.
slide? Thank you. Yeah. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So there are certain basic rules, right? Every game has certain rules. and one has to play the game by that rules, right? Similarly, creating financial freedom is the game, right, that you want to play in your life, and say you want to achieve it in the next 1 or 2 decade, right? Say I am assuming that all of your average age is 25 years. So by the time you people reach 40 or 45, right, you will have a financial freedom. That is the game you want to play. And in every game, right, there are certain rules, and you have to play by that rules. If you don't follow the rules, right, and then don't follow the process, then there will be an accident. Instead of creating financial freedom, you are actually become slave to the money, and whole life you will work, right, just to pay your interest and EMI, right? Now let us see the very first rule. The first rule is you have to learn how to manage the money. Now, some of you have given a very, very valid answer that the planning plays a very important role. Budgeting plays very important role in your financial management. You might be earning 1 lakh rupees, or you might be earning 50,000 rupees, or you might earn 5 lakh rupees per month. Irrespective of that, what is most important and the first rule is to have a plan. And in order to have a plan, you should first have a goal. That what are your financial goals? Now, you people are very young right now, do not have much liability on your head. Maybe all of you are unmarried, so you do not have even the kids to take care of. So your goal can be to make a good career and to have a very good retirement kitty in the next 10 or 20 years. That can be your goal. Maybe when you get married, you will have a goal to take care of your children's, their educations and their marriage expense. And some people have a goal to have every year have a good vacations, maybe in India or abroad. So first you have to freeze on your goal, and then you can create a plan. And as somebody has rightly said, that you really have to create a budget, right, to how to manage your money, how to allocate your money to various expenditure, and how much to save and play within those budgets. That is the very first rule. Yeah, great. So now let us move to the second slide. Next slide. The second is you have to clean up your finances. Now what happens? I have seen many people, even in their early career, when they do not have any burden on them to run their house, to run their family, to buy a, to pay the EMI, no problems as such, and they are earning a decent salary, still they end up into the financial mess. The question is, what kind of financial mess? I have seen young people like you, when they get some good amount of salary and they have no liability on them, they go and buy some, say, some products, say, costly mobile, and that too on EMI. Their salary might be 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh of rupees, and they spent on buying EMI or on buying certain other stuffs, or they use plastics money, that is credit card, and buys lot of stuffs on online, and they pay EMI, and they actually create a mess. What kind of mess? That your take home salary is say 1 lakh of rupees, out of that 50, 60, 70,000 goes towards paying the EMI and interest, right? And they never able to save enough for their future. So this kind of mess we should avoid. Second kind of mess people create, because a lot of youngsters I have seen nowadays, they develop the flavor to trade in the stock market. Now trading in the stock market, the brokers nowadays like Zerodha and many other such discount broking offer you a very, very low rate of brokerage, very low brokerage, and heavy leverage and margin funding. And the many youngsters like you, they are tempted to take very heavy bet into the stock market in day trading, intraday trade, or swing trading, and eventually they make up huge losses, and they have to pay all those losses to the broker out of their salaries or borrowing, and they end up into huge masses. Third examples, I have seen that people, even if they don't need, they spend lot of money on unnecessary luxury items, right? Even if they need, say, 2 BHK house, they go for 3 BHK. Even if they need 1 BHK, they go for 2 BHK. And whole life they work for 15, 20 years just to repay the EMI to the bank for 15, 20 years, right? And they create a huge, people go abroad and spend time on vacations by taking the personal loans from the bank, and they actually create the mess. So if you have created any such mess, then first you have to clear this mess before you start building wealth. Because unless you clean the mess, you are not in a position, even if your salary goes up, to create the wealth. So that is the second ground rule you really have to understand very clearly. Let's move to the next slide. Now, this is very important thing, that these equation you have to understand that whenever you have income in hand, right, you have to first think about your saving, that how much I can save out of this and what is the left out should take care of your expenditure, your monthly expenditure. And if your income is not sufficient enough, you should think about taking up certain other part-time or multitasking so that you can supplement your income. And you must invest or must save certain amount initially in your career, and whatever left out after the saving should be available to you for your expenditure, because in the initial year of your career your parents are there to take care of your day-to-day expenditure, your family expenditure, your monthly household budgets. So you should not face a problem, barring few exceptional students, you know, rest of the you should not face this problem, because your parents are there and they can take care of your family expenditure, and this is the time you should take care of this equation very well, right? In your goal should be achieve financial freedom, and that is why you should create some sufficient buffer, right, by way of savings, so that unexpected events happens anytime in your life, right? This buffer can come handy. You don't have to borrow. The moment you get into the trap of borrowing, you are finished. Unnecessary borrowing, personal loans, that means you are, it is a beginning of your downfall. You can never create wealth in your lifetime, right? That means what, once you have enough cash in your hand, it actually gives you peace of mind. That means what, once your mind is peaceful, right, then only you can think very clearly, you can think rationally. And that is the funda of, to remain rational throughout your journey of creating wealth. That is the funda, that is the condition. If you are not rational in your thinking, then you can never take a right decisions, right? And to be rational, there is a need for peace of mind, and you can have a peace of mind only when you have enough buffer you have kept for your emergency funds and any contingency comes in the life. For example, you people are students, but if you observe in the society, there are many highly qualified people today, either they have been laid off or they have a salary cuts or their salaries are delayed also. Now if they have not created enough buffer, then they are actually struggling how to meet their both the ends, and in such situation they will never have a peace of mind. But on the contrary, the another person who has actually created a buffer, and he don't have to worry about how my I can run my house, he has enough money available to him, and today the kind of the opportunity the financial market throw, he can actually take an advantage. For example, from the month of the March low, if you are a financial investor, from the month of the March low, the Nifty has gone more than 40% in the month of July. Now 40% return you can take only when you are not in a financial mess, right? Only you have created enough buffer for you, and you can take advantage of the irrationality of the other players in the market, because you are rational and you have enough kitty available without any debt to, and that is where the game start playing for you, for in your favor, right? So I would just like to know the, some of the people, their understanding about income minus saving equal to expense. Can I ask Tanuja Jha to come online?
Yes, sir. Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah. Good morning, Tanuja. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Tanuja and I am from MMS.
MMS Finance. Okay.
Yes, talking about income. Like,
So.
yes, I get the question again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Fine. May I request Suril Mehta to come online?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Suril, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. I am from MMSA Marketing, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sir, it's important to save for a long-term period. So
Okay.
it's it's very important to save.
Okay, very good. So, but what is this equation tell you? Income minus saving equal to expense.
It says that to to overcome your expenses, to fulfill your expenses, you have to do some savings. In
Okay.
case there is some crisis that you are facing, then your savings can come in hand and you can pay out your expenses.
Okay. Great. Thank you. So, I just want to improve upon your understanding that first you have income in hand and you people are so young. First, you have to think about saving. Whenever you have a paycheck in hand, first try to save the money and whatever left, that money you use for your expenditure. That the sequence you have to understand very clearly. If you spend first and whatever left out you save, then you are breaking this rule and you might end up into a less buffer or a financial mess. Yeah, is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's move to the next slide. Now, it's a very important statement. Saving is not equal to investments. Saving doesn't, see, we normally misunderstand, especially the non-finance people. They feel that if I have a saving, that is as good as investments. But saving is not your investments. Please understand. There is a difference between saving and investments. Now, before I can tell you why so, let me understand from all of you that how you interpret the saving and investments. Can I call upon Yash Balekar to come online? Yash Balekar. Yash, are you there? Yash Balekar? I think he's not there. Can I request Yash Parikh to come online? Yash Parikh,
Hello,
are
sir.
you there?
Yes, Parikh
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, sir. I'm Yash
Hi.
Parikh from MMS.
MMS Finance?
Yes, from
Okay.
finance.
So how you interpret term saving and term investments?
Sir, first we have then we have to do expenditure. So,
Okay. So what is saving and what is investments?
sir, saving is the money that we kept for ourselves, and investment that we do, that we have to that we will get in the future. Basically,
Okay.
investment is that.
Okay, fine. Thank you,
We
Yash.
invest now to get the
Yeah.
benefits in future.
Okay, great, great. Thanks, Yash Parikh. May I request Urmi Gokal Gandhi to come online? May I
Hello,
request?
sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Urmi. Can you introduce yourself?
Sure, sir. So my name is Urmi Gokul Gandhi, and I have 2 years of experience. And currently, I'm pursuing for my master's in finance.
Oh,
So I am
fantastic.
MMS Finance.
So which organization you work with in the past?
Sir, I was working with Indiabull Ventures as an associate manager sales.
Oh, great. So the Urmi would love to listen from you because you are a little bit experienced person. That how you look at saving and how you look at investments.
So basically, I have took experience in the stock market, so I would love to share that experience in a stock market language. So saving is something where a particular person have already saved and don't want to use it. He or she will use for the future purpose. And investment is something where the people invest their particular amount in stock market to earn a bit higher, so that it's a long-term investment kind of. That is what. But both the things are very much different.
Okay.
Because for investment, their expectations are high.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you, Urmi. May
Thank
I
you, sir.
request? Yeah, may I request Litesh Acharya to come online and share his views?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Myself, Ritesh Acharya, pursuing MMS Marketing from MMSA.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir. I think means saving is a particular amount that we use. Means we save money for, I think, for a emergency situation. Means if we save some particular amount from our income, we can use it on any time, like in emergency or for any function. Like investment is like we invest money for a long term situation. Means for if we invest some money or invest in a property, so we can't use it in an emergency situation. We invest in a property for a long term benefit. That
Okay, great. Litesh, thank you very much. So you people are, somewhat, very near to your understanding. Now, please understand, when I have say salary check of 1 lakh of rupees in my hand, then say I try to save say 25,000 rupees, and 75,000 is say my household expenditure. So that 25,000 I keep into liquid funds, or I keep into my saving accounts, or I keep into bank FD. That is actually my saving. Now, why it is my saving? Because the difference between saving and investment is actually the inflation factor. Now, please understand, the saving is there to create your buffer, or to give you safety, or give you peace of mind, which try to earn at the most up to the level of inflation or slightly below that. Because in case of saving, the risk is very less. Either you put money in RBI bonds, or you put money in liquid funds, you put money in bank FD or in a saving accounts, or a post office or an insurance product, right? But you don't take heavy risk, and your returns are pretty low, but it give you peace of mind. It give you safety. Now what happens? It shall take a case of a bank FD. Today, the State Bank of India, 5 years FD will give you say 5 and odd % rate of interest. If you actually take the consumer inflation, yeah, right, that is retail inflation, which you and I today face, is definitely more than 5%. Definitely more than 5%. So in real sense, you are not actually earning anything. The purchasing power is not going up. You are actually not creating the wealth. And this is in technical terms called real rate of interest. When you minus the inflation factor, say State Bank of India giving you 5%, and say inflation is 6%, then 5 minus 6 minus 1%. That means real interest is minus 1%. That means after 5 years, actually your purchasing power is not going up. It is actually gone by minus 1%. That you really have to understand. But still we have to do the saving because it gives you peace of mind. It gives you peace of mind. It is like when you want to fly, right? Then first you to take a safety belt. You actually use the safety belt. You want to drive bike, then first you have the helmet, and then you actually go on a full speed. That is taking a risk. Now investment is actually taking the risk. Now the question is your risk profile and your risk appetite will decide what kind of risk you want to take. But the purpose is to create wealth, and purpose is to beat the inflation. Because say inflation is 6%, you would like to make more than 6%, right? Then only you create wealth. Otherwise, there will be an increase in the amount you have, but your purchasing power doesn't go up. Now let me explain you why I say so. Say when I was of your age, 25 years before, I become chartered accountant and I was drawing certain salary. And with that salary in Bombay, I could afford 1,000 square feet of 2 BHK flat with that salary. And that time I could, buy that 25 lakhs of rupees before 25 years. Then after say 20 years, when I retired from my job, my salary was, much 10 times more than what I started my career. But with the same salary, I can at that time also can afford only 1,000 square feet, right? That means because of inflation factor, the salary has gone up, but I can afford still 1,000 square feet even at that time. That means even with 10 time increase in my salary, my purchasing power was 1,000 square feet only. Now that is why we have to understand that inflation is a silent. So whenever you make an investment decision, you really have to keep in mind, are you beating the inflation or not, right? And that is why some people have very rightly said that it is for long term, and you have to take the risk, and you have to take the risk for long term, where your idea is to beat the inflation. And a classic example is the Nifty. Nifty index in the history since inception has given 15.5, 16% CAGR return plus the dividend. Right now, whereas inflation in India was always in the range of 6 to 7%. So you almost beat the inflation by twice. And if you have invested in such good instruments, you have created a wealth for yourself, taking very little risk if you are in index funds. Going forward, we will also see the formula for you people about the how to design this structure. Now, so you understood the meaning that saving is like for safety and peace of mind, but it is necessary, and investment is for beating the inflation and earning a higher superior rate of return so that you create wealth and you protect your, rather you increase your purchasing power. That is actually meaning of wealth. Now for this, you really have to understand the power of compounding at a very early stage, right? That means what? When you start early in your career to start investing, I am not using the word saving, I am using the word investing. First you save and then you invest. So once you start investing at a very early stage, and even if you earn the index return of 15% or 15.5%, that means you are not taking undue risk. If you are not, say, finance guy, are able to take certain active fund management risk, but marketing guy, operation guy, HR guy, they are not expert in finance. Still, if they go and buy index funds and make 15%, they can still create huge wealth, because at 15% you compound your wealth for a long period of time, right? But when your time available to you is very less, then terminal value of your investments actually go down. You don't make good return. Hello, can we put on the slides, please? Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
So can you see the slide?
No, slide is not visible, sir.
Pradeep sir, can you request somebody to put the slides on? Hello.
One sec, sir. I'm just sharing my.
Yeah. No problem, sir. So that means what? First, you have to differentiate between saving and investments. And the key to make money is not timing the market, but time in the market. अगर आप लंबे समय तक, मतलब एटलीस्ट 10 साल 15 साल, आप 25 साल के हो या 20 साल के हो या 25 years old एवरेज एज है आपका, you can easily spend 20 years or 15 years in the market, right, and compound your money, then I can give you guarantee in writing on stamp paper that if you follow the rule and for the next 20-25 years, if you don't make mistakes, right, that means you don't allow your emotions to come into the picture and you become rational and invest for next 15 to 20 years, at the age of 40 or 45, you can safely retire with lot of wealth, right? That is the power of compounding. It is called as the eighth wonder on the planet by Einstein. Now, you really have to understand the importance of asset allocations. That means everything you cannot put into the risky business, right? You have to diversify your savings and investments into different asset classes. Now, what are the different asset classes available? The next logical questions, that what are the different asset classes available, right? So may I request Manisha Jha to come online and share her view about what are different asset classes she understands. Manisha Jha. Am I audible? Pradeep sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yeah. Loud and clear.
Yeah. So Manisha Jha, are you there? I think she is not there. Mayur Tripathi? Mayur Tripathi, are you there? I think Mayur is not there. Sir, these students are in college campus or they are at home?
Students are at home, sir.
Okay. So Mayur Tripathi is not there. Milind Malani?
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Milind, good afternoon. So Milind, can you share your understanding? Doesn't matter right or wrong, but first introduce yourself.
So this is Malin Malani from PGDM Finance, and first of all, I would like to thank you for sharing your knowledge to us,
Thank
with
you.
us, which could help us in different ways.
Okay.
So my take on the different class of assets are, I as a mutual fund investor, I as a mutual fund active investment as and I do mutual funds since past couple of years. So my understanding towards the asset allocations should be that there are different types of assets like debt and equity. Apart from that, the liquid assets as in liquid funds which we need to keep for us for any uncertainty. Apart from that, the commodities and the currencies which we could also invest in and which we could also look into.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Great,
so
Milind.
that's
Thank
my
you.
take
Thank you,
for the
Milind.
asset allocation. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. You know, Kinjal Joshi is there. Kinjal, can you come online? Kinjal?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, great.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon.
Kinjal, good afternoon. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is Kinjal Joshi. I'm from MMS Batch Marketing Specialization.
Great.
Yeah, sir. So, different assets for a class of assets for investment, I would think of equity
Fantastic.
or for FDs and investing in gold. That's it, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. The last person, Jayul Pancholi. Can you come online? Jayul? I think Jayul is not there. Hiral Chauhan? Hiral Chauhan, are you there? I think Hiral is not there. Jyoti Thanvi is there? Jyoti?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Okay, Jyoti. Hi.
Very
Please
good
introduce
afternoon,
yourself.
sir. My
Good
name is
afternoon.
Jyoti Thanvi. I am from PGDM Batch Marketing.
Okay.
Sir, I believe if the person, as an individual, he needs to first decide that he's an aggressive player or a conservative.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
and if the person is aggressive, he can first go towards or focus towards equities and the funds which are risky because they will give high returns.
Fantastic.
And at this age where if I talk about myself, I'm at 22, I can take risk till 25, 26 for
Okay.
going out to be a risky investor and go for equities. I also
Fantastic.
see towards a neutral side of the market if the markets are not so markets are so volatile. So I can go for gold, which has given almost 10 times returns after what I've seen the market in the past and now. So gold is another options. SIP and mutual funds are the options which are very much open for the investors. So when the
Fantastic.
investors are neutral and aggressive, they can live and sustain for the long time.
Oh, very nice. So thank you, Jyoti. Jyoti, just hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
So, what I can understand is that if person is aggressive, then he should invest in equity only or he should invest elsewhere also.
No, he can decide his portfolio accordingly.
So
it's
can you
not
throw
that
more can you throw more light on this?
Yes, the person can go for equities, the person can go for mutual funds, because the person should also be neutral towards markets because markets are so volatile and this at this point of time when we see the market is into a phase where nobody has seen it before.
So when you say mutual fund means what, equity through the indirect equity in mutual fund?
Yeah.
So that means if I am very aggressive person, I can buy equity directly and I can buy equity through mutual fund also.
Yes, sir. Both
That
options
means
are open.
yeah, that means in both the option I am have exposure in equity only.
Yeah, towards it because you're a risk taking person and an aggressive person. So right
So
now you can go for it.
Okay, and I should not invest in any other asset class?
No, sir, I'm telling you, this is like something you have to be neutral at this point of time. And as an individual, being an aggressive, also you can go for equity, but also for other asset classes.
For
so
example?
you can go for gold, you can go for gold, you can go for this SIPs. So for the long-term perspective, you can, even if in the equities, you can go for long-term investments. So
okay.
if today I see as Reliance as a company, ITC as a company, though they may not perform today so well, but in the long-term perspective, they are the companies who are so established. So I can obviously take a call to go for them.
Okay, great, Jyoti. Thank you. See, I would like to, remove certain misconceptions in your mind, and these are very general and very, widely I have observed, when I talk to the people that, see, you people have used the word mutual funds, you people use the word SIP, right? Please understand, assets, there are different asset classes and there are different vehicles and different process available to take exposure in these asset classes. So the assets classes are, for example, your equity is an asset class, your FD is an asset class, real estate is an asset class, gold is an asset class, right? Paintings, art is an asset class. Many people invest in that. So these are all asset classes, right? And how you can participate or how you can take exposure in these asset classes, maybe a direct equity through broker, maybe through mutual funds, or maybe you can invest through some fund managers like PMS and the model portfolio. So these are all vehicles and the process, right? Mutual fund is a vehicle, PMS is a vehicle, SIP is a process. They are not asset class. The asset classes are your equity, your debt fund, your RBI bonds, your post office investments, your insurance products, your you can say real estates and gold. These are asset classes that you have to understand. The second very good point came from the Jyoti is that if an aggressive person is there, right, what options available to him? So please understand whether you are aggressive or whether you are moderate or you are conservative investor. Regardless of that, आपको asset allocation करना जरूरी है. You can't put all eggs in one basket. You have to put investments into different baskets, different asset classes. Now, what is formula that I will come later. But if I am very aggressive, then I have to first take care of my safety. So first I will invest into non-risky products like bank FD, RBI bonds, post office, etc., etc. Right? How much I have to invest, I will come in the next slide as a formula for you people. Then once I take care of that safety factor, then I take exposure into risky asset class depending on my risk profile. So I go for equity, I go for real estates, right, etc., etc. So what is the role of gold? How much I should invest in the risky assets? How much I should invest into the non-risky assets? Right, that means debentures and FDs and etc. That is the actually formula, and which is you people follow. Right, this is specially designed for you people, assuming that your age is 25 years. Now, don't apply this formula for the people who are 35, 40 years or 38 years old person. For them, the formula will change, right? But they will get some logical framework how to think about creating wealth in the long run so that they have a financial freedom and they can retire. So that is what, in the next slide, I want to present a formula where you can create a huge wealth for yourself in the next 10 to 20 years. Please, sir, go to the next slide. Yeah. So in this slide, if you see, I have taken an age of the person 25 years, and I have assumed that all of you are 25 years old, average age of 25 years, right? And I assume that your salary is 1,50,000 and you all of you are unmarried, right? And say I have taken a very aggressive assumption that your household expenditure are 40,000. Which normally cannot be in your case because your parents are there to take care of it. But I have assumed that. Then your health insurance premium yearly 15,000. So monthly it comes to 1,250. And you take certain term insurance of any insurance company, maybe LIC or maybe private sector, where at your age you can pay around 25,000 rupees premium yearly, which comes to 2,000 rupees. So if you deduct all these things from your take-home salary, you can have roughly 1,06,000 rupees as your per month investable surplus available, which translate into yearly surplus of more than 12,81,000 rupees, right? Now, first you have to think about, as you see, the first rule of the game is to create peace of mind. So what will you do? You will actually keep aside your 12 month of expenditure as a buffer, right? So that if anything happens, any crisis come, for next 1 year, you are safe. You have a peace of mind. मेरा घर कैसे चलेगा वो टेंशन आपको नहीं है. So that means 40,000 is your monthly expense. Into 12 is 4,80,000, roughly 5 lakh of rupees you keep aside is a saving for emergency purpose. Maybe in RBI bond, maybe in SBI FD, or maybe into liquid funds, which are easily available to you when there is a crisis. Otherwise, it will just keep multiplying by 4 to 5 to 6% rate if you don't need to tap this fund, but it will take care of itself. Then you left with, if you deduct that, 8 lakh of rupees, right? Now, second rule you have to follow in the asset allocation. The first rule is create emergency funds. Second rule is always invest 10% of your corpus, balance corpus into gold, irrespective of the price of the gold. Now the question arises why? This gold is actually will give you protection. Protection from what? Protection against inflation. Yeah, the gold rate in last 100 years has actually given the same rate as your inflation has given the amount of the inflation. It protects your purchasing power. Second thing, if there is a situation out of control, like war, right? That time, you know, the gold will come handy. Third, the way in which the financial markets, you know, dependent on the fiat currency, that is paper currency, the way the US and other European countries are printing dollars in euro, and the Japan who are doing quantitative easing, right? Huge money they are printing and pumping into the system. Because of this, there is a threat and there is an hypothesis at some point in time, value of the paper currency might go down. Trust on the fiat currency may go down. In that case, this is the gold which is store of value. So it is more of a protection, more of a hedging rather than investments. Irrespective of the return it give you, second rule is that 10% you should always park into the gold. The next logical question is, shall we buy physical gold or shall we buy paper gold? Let me introduce the concept of paper gold. See, the physical gold means you go to the jewelry shop and buy the biscuits or buy the coins, right? 24 karat gold. I am talking about 24 karat gold. I am not talking about jewelries, right? So you have an option to buy physical gold also. At the same time, you can buy gold in your Demat account. That is a paper gold. There are gold ETF available. You can buy from the stock market, any mutual funds gold ETF. Another alternative is there are gold mutual funds. You can buy those units also from the mutual funds directly, because and how they work, either ETF or gold mutual fund. The mutual fund house, whatever the amount of the ETF they have introduced in the system, or the gold units they introduce in system, say they have 1 unit equal to 1 gram. And if say they have 1,000 units, that means 1,000 gram means 1 kg of gold, right? They have issued the ETF. That much physical gold they have to keep in the safe, right? And it is audited every year by the auditor, and the annual reports will come to your home, right, about the amount of the gold lying into the safe. And against that equivalent amount of units are given by the company mutual funds to you. I personally prefer investing into the gold ETF, right? Because paper currency is very easy to liquidate and there is a tax advantage also. Then you are left with, after the second step, 7,20,000 roughly, right? Now here, the most important part of the game starts. And that is what? That you take your age. If your age is 25, you minus 100 minus 25 means 75% is left. That means 75% of your investable surplus, balance surplus, should go into the equity. That means should go towards taking the risk. And 25%, which is equal to your age, should go into non-equity, means in your safe products, right? Let us deal with 25%. That means in your case, it will come roughly 1,80,000 per annum investments into your safe products. First, you have to do that. That means after your corpus, you can invest into the RBI bonds, you can invest into post office schemes, you can invest into even into the insurance. Some of the products, I will not encourage insurance product much, but some amount you can keep in insurance products, and you can also take exposure into some extent if you are very wealthy person, salary is very high, in the real estates, but not by borrowing from your own funds only, right? Otherwise, you can exclude real estates also. But at least in RBI bonds, in the debt mutual funds, like the dynamic bond funds, income funds, those funds you can take and you can invest in those funds. And the balance 75%, that is 5,40,000 per annum, you have to invest into equity. Now the question comes, in equity, how should I invest? That's a very logical question because everybody is not experts taking exposure into the equity. It's a very risky bet. Then if you are experts in equity, you can take a shot directly by investing directly into the equity. But I advise you people to refrain from going directly into the stock market because it is not a part-time job. If you are having a job or having your own office, own business, then you cannot devote that much of time on equity. Even I myself don't do direct equity. I prefer to invest through indirect equity. Now, indirect equity means you can go through the mutual funds, you can go through the PMS, or you can go through model portfolio. Now, what does this mean? If you are a retail investor, means your investment is below 3 lakhs, right? Then you can go for mutual funds. If you can invest between 3 lakhs to 50 lakhs, then you can go for a model portfolio. And if you can invest more than 50 lakhs, then you can go for PMS kind of scheme, right? Now, in mutual funds, everybody is aware how it works. In model portfolio, normally the fund manager will buy and sell the shares in your demat account only. You can open account with minimum 3 lakhs, and you can do, if you wish, you can do SIP. Every month you can put some fixed sum of money into the model portfolio, right? And third is the PMS, where you can invest more than 50 lakhs. There also the model portfolio, it work like model portfolio. In your account only, demat account only, mutual fund manager will invest and buy and sell the shares on your behalf, of course for a certain fee. Now please understand, in mutual fund also you pay 1% to 2% management fee. In model portfolio also you pay 1% to 2% management fee. Same is in your PMS. So that way they are all common. The only difference is ticket size, the amount of investments you want to make. What is the best route available? What is the best process available in any of the route you go, depending on your ticket size? The best route is actually SIP. Best route is SIP. You simply do SIP every month, right? And try to play out the market in the long run. And you see, suddenly you are sitting on a huge wealth, right? Sir, can you go little below in the slide so that I can show the bottom portion of the slide? I think it's a very small. Sir, is right? थोड़ा और बढ़ा दीजिए. Now, if you see in this process, if you invest in equity 45,000 रुपये, सर इसके नीचे भी होगा, थोड़ा नीचे भी होगा. अगर आप इक्विटी में 5,40,000 इन्वेस्ट करते हो, मंथली 45,000 आपका SIP होगा, और इंडेक्स हैज एनीवे गिवन 15%. There are active management which has given even 20-25%, right, in the long run. And you invest in that fund, it will give you some 10%. Sir, थोड़ा नीचे आ जाइए. या next slide पे चले जाइए, next slide पे. Yeah. So how your suddenly your picture will look like if you invest 45,000 rupees for next 20 years. That means I assume you people are 25 years, and by the time you people become 45. Right, which practically I have done in my life, right? I just sharing that simple formula with you, that even if you invest in index, and index has given 15.5% plus dividend yield, I am assuming only 15%. With this formula in the equity, you can create more than 6.7 crore. In that, with 10% return with SIP, you can create more than 1.14 crore. That means in total, your money will be 7.8 crore. Plus you have an investment in the gold every month. 10% you keep investing, right? That money after 20 years, with considering the 7% inflation, will become 32 lakhs plus. And you also work, then you have provident funds. You have a provident funds, right? I assume only a sum of 5,000 rupees per month, not more than that. And I assume that your 5,000 rupees goes to the provident fund, and it gives you some 7 or 8% for next 20 years. That creates 29 lakhs. That means by the time you retire, you can create more than 16 lakhs, more than 16 lakhs in your kitty, right? And as a single person, I'm not taking account two things. Two things. The one is your salary will increase every year, right? That surplus also you can deploy. Second, you get married, your spouse will also earn, right? And if she also makes money as you also make, probably this 16 crore can go up to 30-35 crore. And 30 से 35 करोड़ 40 या 45 साल की एज में is a huge sum of money. Huge sum of money, right? And with you are not compromising on your household expenditure, you are not compromising on your anything which you want to, you decided your financial goal, you live a good life and you can still create as a husband and wife putting together minimum 30 to 35 crore, leave aside your increments in the salary. Now that is the power of compounding and power of earning only 15%, but for the long period of time. So that is why I always say all my students, wherever I go, that easiest thing or simple thing is to make money. 30 से 35 करोड़ बनाना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. It is easy thing. The only thing is that you have to be simple and you have to be disciplined. Irrespective of the movement in the market, you have to continue your SIP in whichever the vehicles you go, whether it is model portfolio or mutual funds. Keep investing a fixed sum of money every year and follow the discipline. Market will reward you. Why market in India will reward you? Because India is a demographic dividend country where 65% of the population is working population, where so much of consumption driven economy is there that this country, irrespective of which government come in the power, can easily make 6 to 7% of GDP growth in the long run. And in the past, that was the average growth of GDP country has made. So that's with this, I just want to conclude my presentation that please follow this process, make good discipline approach, and don't allow your emotions to come into the picture. With your wife, when you get married, it is very easy to make 35 crore, 34, 35 crore kitty in your investments bucket, in your retirement buckets. And if any one of you make this kind of money, when you meet anywhere, because I meet a lot of people when I travel across India, right? And many of my students, who are today also working, and when they meet me and when they say that, sir, we are following this formula and we are seeing a good results, paying good dividend, it's very heartening to note that my efforts to make things simple and remain simple, right? So that you all create financial freedom for yourself is worthwhile. Thank you very much. Now I'm open and happy to take the questions, anything you have. Thank you, sir. You can now switch off the slide, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I'm open for the question answer. Please unmute yourself and feel to ask any question, but don't ask personal question. Anybody?
Sir, Yash here.
Yeah,
Yash. Finance.
Yeah.
Sir, this the topic which you gave, it was like very much general about like asset allocation, but in specifically if we talk about equity, can you just brief, like in equity also, like we should create a portfolio which create stocks which are
so Yash, so Yash, very good question. So Yash, are you from finance background?
Yes.
Okay. So let me make one thing very clear, that in equity, you can either invest directly, where you can go to the stock market and buy and invest in the stock, or you can go into the indirect equity, either mutual fund or model portfolio, right? The first question is which process, in which vehicle we should use. Please understand, even if you are a finance guy, even if you have a knowledge of finance, but if you can give full-time attention to the equity research, full-time attention to the stock market, and you can do the research and you are a voracious reader, then only get into direct equity. If you are doing a job, then don't get into direct equity. Then you will make mistakes, because you will not be able to do the study which it requires. It's a full-time job, it's not a part-time job. Then you go to the mutual fund route. But if, say, assuming that you are a thorough guy who understand equity, who understand the finance, right, and ready to give full time to the equity, then you should first start reading about annual reports of the company. Now, there are two approaches, top-down approach and bottom-up approach for equity research. Top-down approach means you find out which are the sectors which are favorable. Say in today's scenario, pharma is a favorable sector. Then you start with the pharma. First, you have to understand the sector thoroughly, that how this sector works in the country. Then what is the growth potential of this sector in the next 5 to 10 years. And then you have to zero down on the various company in the sector. You have to study all the companies in the sector in pharma. Now, how to study these companies? So there are qualitative analysis, there are quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis means what? You study the annual reports, you study the last 10 years reports, you study the various ratios, right? You study the cash flow analysis and understand which company is doing better. And then you will compare all this company and find out intrinsic value of this company, right? And which the company which give you, right, a high margin of safety. That means you work out all company. Say Sun Pharma, your calculation says the intrinsic value is 800 rupees, and you have a Lupin, and your calculation says is intrinsic value 700 rupees, and Sun Pharma is quoted at 900 rupees, and Lupin is quoted at 600 rupees. Then you know that Sun Pharma is above the intrinsic value. Intrinsic value means worth of the company. That means it is costly. Even the company is good, you avoid investing. But when you say Lupin, according to you, the net worth of the company, intrinsic value is 700 and it is available at 600. There is a margin of safety of 100 rupees. Then you will invest in the Lupin. Then question comes, how much money I should invest in Lupin? There is a rule that in any sector, your exposure should not be more than 10%. And in any stock, your exposure should not be 5%. And you should have maximum 10 to 15 stocks in your portfolio. That is the approach fund manager go about investing. Is this clear, Yash?
Yeah, most of the things which you say, I mostly follow that. The main problem which I face is forecasting the growth for a company. Like one thing we can go through the annual report, we can go take the ratios, calculate the ratios, study the balance sheet, but how to forecast the growth for the company?
Yeah, see, please understand, the value of the company is subjective. Now value comes from three things. First is from the book value of the company, जो आपको बैलेंस शीट में मिलता है, book value per share. Second comes the earning power, कि ये कंपनी का अर्निंग पावर क्या है, मतलब उसका रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी क्या है, right? And third is the growth, and the growth is the major driver of the value of the company. Now it is a mystery. Please understand, growth is a subjective field. It is a mystery. Now you will not find the growth as a sacrosanct figure in any literature. That yes, ये company ये percent से grow करेगा. You cannot find. The finance, corporate finance will talk about the amount of the retained earning multiplied by return on equity is a growth. But that is the financial terminology of the growth. But when it comes to the growth driver in the stock market, you really have to go beyond annual reports. You have to meet the management. You have to read the industry journals. You have to study the conference call of the various company in the same sector, and you have to judge. I will underline word the judge. आपका जजमेंट आएगा कि इंडस्ट्री 15% ग्रो कर रहा है, ये कंपनी 18% ग्रो कर सकती है, ये मेरे रीजंस है. And you should be, once you understand, then you should be able to write 3 or 4 reasons about your reasoning in your diary. If you fail to write some reasons, right, in your diary, that means your understanding is not clear. You should avoid entering into the stock. So that you will understand only when you go beyond annual reports. You have to read a lot of industry journals also. You have to track even international companies also, and the government policies also. Is this clear, Yash?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And that is why I say that direct equity is not the part-time job. It is a full-time job. Having a knowledge is one thing, and having a time to execute that knowledge is another thing. Is this clear?
Yeah, I have been associated with PMS Fund. Sir, I've been working for PMS Fund, Mehta Equities for 2 years. So from there, I gained some knowledge, and then I decided to do my MBA because I'm looking for career in PMS.
Very good. if you are really interested in to develop your knowledge base on this line, get it connected with me offline. I will suggest you a lot of literature, right, that you should read. Please understand that if you want to be a direct investor, you should be a voracious reader, and you should be a very good learner. The Warren Buffett, who reads 500 to 1000 pages per day, right? So then only, that's why it is a full-time job, right? Great, Yash. Thank you very much. So one of the best question so far I have come across.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? Feel free to ask. Anybody?
Hello, sir.
Hello, कौन है अभी? I think two people are there.
Sir, Sahil.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, Saili, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I'm pursuing in PGDM Finance.
Uh-huh.
I have one doubt. It's regarding RBI bonds.
Uh-huh.
So why is it always considered as a 10 years benchmark for RBI bonds?
RBI bonds see, there are RBI bonds today available is 7.15% and the tenure of 6 months. Tenure of 6 months. Please understand. Now you are talking about 10 years bond. There are GSEC bonds.
Okay.
These are government of India bonds.
Okay, yeah,
And these are called GSEC bonds, and they are issued for monetization of fiscal deficits. जो कंट्री का फिस्कल डेफिसिट होता है तो उसको फंडिंग करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट बोरोइंग करती है मार्केट से. इट इज इन इकोनॉमिक्स इट इज कॉल्ड सब्जेक्ट ऑफ पब्लिक फाइनेंस, राइट. एंड वो 10 साल का अवधि रहता है क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट का जो फिस्कल डेफिसिट लॉन्ग टर्म इन नेचर होता है. एंड इंडिया इज ऑलवेज हैव अ फिस्कल डेफिसिट्स, सो गवर्नमेंट use this money for funding various long-term infrastructure projects, and that is why they have a 10-year bonds. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other question? Feel free to ask any question.
Hello, sir. It's
Hello.
Sahil here. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, sir. This is Sahil, sir. I have been pursuing MMS Finance, and I have worked in HDFC Life since 2 months as an internship. And sir, my question is, in the last Excel sheet, you have mentioned like your investments in this one, equities as well as gold, as well as in PPF, right? For the next 25 years. So if the person is earning 1.5 lakhs per month and saving approximately 12 lakhs or something a year, then don't you think, sir, it will be more beneficial if he try to enter at the real estate market, as the market is also increasing and one can go in the both the way, one side to get a passive income in the form of rent, as well as the capital appreciation of the houses. It goes every like in every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. So now let us say in a city like Bombay, with 12 lakh of rupees you can't borrow. You cannot buy the real estates. Then you have to borrow at least 50-60 lakh rupees, right? That means what? You have nothing available available to save and invest, because then you will be paying EMIs only and betting on real estates. Now the question is, there is a competition between real estates and equity, correct? Where to invest? That is your question.
Yes.
Now in the last 20 to 30 years since inception, Nifty has given 15.5%, correct? But if you take last 100 years investment into real estates, last 100 years, the long run, the real estate has given just a return equivalent to inflation. In between there is a spike, but there is no guarantee. In the longer period, the returns are stagnated. If you take last 5 years return in real estate prices has not gone up. Are you getting my point? So if you go by past data analysis, the real estate and gold only try to hedge against inflation. Only hedge against inflation. They will never give you return which is better than equity in the long run. Short-term spikes can come up, but then again it will come with the lull and play to for a long term. But equity can guarantee you, right, a above average return, and which can create wealth. Now, if you have inheritance or if you have certain huge amount of wealth, then as an asset allocation, partly you can keep 1 or 2 real estates, not otherwise. And somebody has talked about in the class that many times the real estates you buy and you consume is not your asset but your liability, as Rich Dad Poor Dad book says, and it is very true. because instead of earning income, it will eat your income by way of interest and EMI and also by way of maintenance, right? And of a 1 crore property you buy, the rent you will get is 2% only 2%. Rental yields are in real estate 2% only. Plus, the way the work from home culture is picking up in the world now is a big structural change. Demand for commercial real estate likely to rationalize.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So anything where the demand is a question mark or there is a rationalization, it is very, very irrational to think that it will give you good returns. And investment is all about remaining rational. You always remain rational when you take decisions and avoid making mistakes. Even 1 or 2 good decisions, good investments can make wealth for you. Is this clear? Good question.
So yeah, agreed, sir. Agreed.
Yeah.
But sir, what if the person who is being thinking for the long term and has already invested into real estate, what could be the better investment for him to convert means to go up with for the next years?
See, if somebody has I'm not saying that for own consumption. आपको खुद को रहना है वो बात अलग है. लेकिन आपने investment के लिए real estate लिया है, right? Then you have alternative to get to sold those real estates and park that money, in the in some kitty in mutual funds or somewhere, and systematically transfer that money SIP mode into the equity schemes. So you will surprised to know in last 20 years and more, Tata mutual funds, Tata equity, there is one scheme. It has given 22% CAGR return in 22 years, up to December 2019. Now 22% CAGR return means what? Huge. अगर 15% पे आप 16 करोड़ बना सकते हो, तो 22% पे आप 35 करोड़ सिर्फ 35 करोड़ बना सकते हो. Forget about your wife contributions is different when you get married. At 22%, you can have 70-80 crores in your kitty. Is this clear?
Yes.
And we are assuming
double in 4 years.
We are assuming 1.5 lakhs of income, not more. Which, if you start working with the bank, easily you will earn this much. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Great.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your session.
Very good question. Very good question. Any other question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Kon?
Hello. Hi, sir. Kunal Prabhu here from PGDM marketing background.
Yeah, Kunal.
So my question would be that at the age of 20 to 25, if suppose you don't have a job which is worth 1.5 lakh. So in this situation, with the theory of compounding effect, what would be the best investment? If we don't have a big option, like we can't invest in all the possibilities which we have said, but with the theory of compounding effect and the salary also remaining below 1 lakh or 80,000 to 70,000 or up to 50,000 in a month.
I got your question.
So which is the best investment we can make?
See, that is why I have not assumed increment in your salary, right? To average out this fear factor. Second thing, even if your salary is 50% of this, right? Yes. Then instead of 16 crore, at least you can make 8 crore.
Yeah.
8 to 9 crore, and with your spouse, same salary, you can still make 16 crore, which is hell of a money.
Yes.
Please understand, easiest thing on this planet is to make money. Only thing is you have to be disciplined, and you should not allow your emotions to come into the picture.
Right.
Only follow the discipline, money will become automatically. Right?
Yes.
Great question, Kunal. Great
Thank
question.
You,
Thank you. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, madam. Yeah.
Yes, I think we have had a very fruitful discussion, a very interactive session from your end. Yes, there are going to be several doubts with respect to the total income that people will be earning. So if the income is, say, close to about 50,000 rupees per month, then obviously whatever you have suggested, that will have to be reduced, cut down by, like 1/3. The investments can also be planned accordingly. So I think that is an adjustment which can be made. So the basic idea was that you have actually opened their avenues towards understanding that these are the options which are available and people should start early. I think because what usually happens is people start very late, and by then it is too late to make money. So wealth creation has to begin at the right age and stage. I think that is the major takeaway, and the plan that you have described to them, that is going to be highly effective. So thank you so much for sparing your valuable time with us.
Thank you, madam. My pleasure.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.